Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to another term. I know that I guess this is what like about the beginning of week two. Um, this course is going to follow a very similar format to the fall course in the sense that you'll have quizzes based on some of the lecture PowerPoints that are related to the book, and then like two reflections, the quest assignment, and then like a final assignment. I'm gonna do the course a little bit more self-directed this year, just or this term, just in the sense of like I'm considering giving you access to some of the assignments a lot earlier so that you can kind of do it when it makes the most sense for you. And if you look around on the course site, you'll see I kind of have like the syllabus up and I have the course readings and all the stuff for every week. Right now I have like the reflections and the quest thing and the final assignment hidden, but I'll be changing that soon. I think some of the feedback I got last term, some of the more like critical points were around lack of clarity with how I presented stuff, and I can get that. And some of it was, if I'm being honest, some of it was that I was trying hard to make like I was basically giving me myself Thursday nights to make like a multi-hour recording, and then if life stuff happened, it kind of threw it off. And then I was sending like tons of like, oh sorry, I'll have it in a couple days, and I got the impression that that was you know rub people the wrong way or whatever. So, and some of that I can adjust, and then but some of it is that the adjustment might not be the exact thing you want. And at the end of the day, it's like I'm going to teach the course, and I can't be super desperate to like meet every request of everyone, or else I'm just going to be running in circles. It's like what I'm going to try to do is set it up as clearly as I can, and then we'll kind of deal with stuff as it goes, and that's just how it's got to be. What I'm going to do this term is kind of, I'm not going on a script, obviously, but what I'm going to do is sort of try to lay it out really clear, right? And so basically now the only thing that's missing on the site is like some clear expectations around like due dates and stuff like that. Um, it's the same textbook as before, so it's just a continuation. You don't need to buy anything new. You will still need access to the Connect site because, as I talked about last term, there's an expectation when you take the 2106 and the 2107 course and how it's been approved by, like, I guess the Senate at NIPSing, which is different than what I'm used to, right? Where, like, that was some of the confusion last term too, is like I was sort of used to teaching developmental psych, and now they have these other social sciencey application aspects they want included. So it took a while for me to kind of get it worked into the course, but I have it more set up for this term, and you'll see that that's kind of more the focus of like the reflection assignments. Um, so anyway, so this is just my long way of saying I think I have it set up a bit better and a bit earlier this year. And in the next few days, I'll get something out to you that's just a really sh easy to understand list of when things are due. I'm going to go show you the first assignment today, and it says right on it when it's due. And then it's going to be the same idea with the quizzes where I'll give them out on the week that it's kind of assigned, and I'm actually probably going to give them most out early and use the some of the recordings I did last year because that's the other thing. It's like a 3 hour recording takes a long time, and and then there's a lot of people waiting for me and people um maybe valuing the clarity over the unique presentation. And I think that the ones that I'm sharing, like it's only for a few of the some of the chapters. It's like some of the presentations are pretty decent, I think, and like hopefully that maybe what I can do is use some of the content I've already made and then which I've never really done that before. Um, this is kind of my big adjustment this term is then to see if this works. And if not, I don't know. I'm gonna see how things play out with Nipsing. I'm gonna try it this time this way. It's more my style to make a new presentation every single time, but like if that's not a high priority necessarily, and if it's interfering with kind of getting things out more timely and it's making it more or less smooth for you, then like what am I doing, right? So it's like my point is that I think maybe what I can do is use some of the pre-recorded long lectures and maybe I'll make like new intros to the videos and I'll like not to, maybe to the videos but like additional video content and do some extra stuff as we get into the course because I know that like I've never wanted to be a teacher that just reuses stuff with new classes, but um maybe I should do that with some of the longer recordings so that that's not taking 95% of my time with nipsing and that more of my time can be to try to be more responsive to email and quicker with marking, which was some of the feedback too. And to be honest, I'm not used to the amount of that kind of feedback, but maybe I'm not saying it's deserved or not. But I have to respond to it, right? So, um, you're a good group. And I think that like it's easy as if you're getting feedback to like overhype it in your mind a bit, right? It's like I've been teaching a long time. I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm decent though. And like I also got a lot of really nice comments from people. So I'm gonna listen to those too. And I'm gonna assert myself a bit more at certain times in the term. But I think to like get it started, it's like there's no problem with you watching, for example, the chapter 8 video that I've linked or what's coming with the chapter 9 video. And those are solid videos. And um, my solidness is more in the specific developmental psych stuff, right? Like some of the more applied concepts are, I don't want to say forced, but they're heavily suggested additions to the course. So I'm trying to work them in a way that makes sense and in a way that hopefully has value to you. So again, all I'm trying to say here is I'm gonna show you here the first reflection assignment and show you where you can find all those articles. And I tried to make it so I know if you just look over the syllabus, it looks like there's tons of readings in this course. Um, but some of the readings are like very specific to certain assignments and stuff. So I'm going to try to be clear. Like a lot of the readings are around the reflections, a lot of the lectures, videos are around the quizzes, and I'll be specific with that, right? Like in the sense that like the first quiz is on chapter 8 specifically. And if you want to do really well in that quiz, put a lot of attention into that chapter 8 PowerPoint or lecture presentation of the PowerPoint. And then as we get into the term and as we get into things, I'm going to add a lot of content. But in this early kind of everybody trying to get started with the new term, I wanted to try to get stuff out there to you. So even some of the stuff that I put up that's like already existing lectures, I might redo stuff that's later in the term in similar ways because I want to. This is I was wanting to be super clear with this video, and I can already tell that I'm coming across kind of scattered and rambly. But I'm also just trying to be honest with you. It's like I try hard. Um, not perfect, but I'm also not the worst. And I'm gonna try to lean on what I'm strong at, which is more the developmental psychology science and the biology of it. And I'm gonna try to pull, and I've gotten some help to pull in some interesting resources, hopefully for some of the more applied aspects of stuff like the readings, basically. So without without further ado, do you want me to rant for 20 more minutes on that? Because I don't think any video. So let me try to like make this clear. If if you're to go to the course, right, you'll see that 2107 course readings, right? So the syllabus and stuff's visible to you guys. The course readings are all here, and you'll see for each week I've laid it out sort of so like the social determinants assignment, this first reflection, you'll see when you open it up, it says like pick one of the articles and read it and basically answer some questions. It's like your typical kind of straightforward reflection. And one of my reasons for doing it is because we're not seeing each other in person, right? So there's not a ton of time to for interaction, for answering questions and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to make the assignments deep and meaningful, but also pretty straightforward, not overly complicated, so that you can kind of put your time straight into the work, not into trying to figure out the assignment. So let me just switch to this. So anyway, so if you go to the week 2 under course readings, you'll find all the article options, and then maybe I'll just do it this way. I thought I had just opened up that article, but if I go to week 2, you'll see I just made it visible to students. And if I click this, it should show you. So you'll look at this and it might look basic, but again, I'm trying to just say, okay, let's not be overly complicated if we don't need to be. It's like pick one of the articles, right? And you'll see here I have them listed and they're the same ones I just showed you. And then answer these questions. What are some of the key points in this chapter, right? Pretending you're explaining it to a friend. 'Cause the reason I say that is because I find that that's a useful way of doing it. It's like, don't just kind of take this tone of like, okay, you're explaining it to somebody that's also smart, but that hasn't read it. What are some of the kind of main points? What are your thoughts about it? Do you agree or disagree? And what in that chapter you think has the most, or what point kind of has the most relevance to developmental psychology specifically? Right? In terms of formatting, I'm saying like 4 to 6 page double spaced or an audio or video response of up to 5 minutes, marking based on kind of clarity of insight, depth of discussion, overall writing or presentation quality. You'll notice this is basically similar to the reflections last term. Same idea, right? It's like there's kind of 3 methods of evaluation in this course. There's the quizzes, and I think there's only a few of you that are new, completely new to me. Most of you took the 2106, but for anyone that didn't, you're basically getting 5 quizzes. They'll be on chapter 8, chapter 9, chapter 10, chapter 11, and chapter 12. And then there's going to be 2 reflections. This is the first one, and then there'll be the quest assignment, which is sort of like a do this activity and then write about it. And that's why you need the connect thing. And remember, without going too heavy into that, that was kind of a part of the course I didn't have much choice over. There needs to be the Senate approved idea or whatever for this course is that there needs to be some kind of what they call virtual child experience or virtual lifespan application experience. And so there's really only 2 choices that exist for that, the Pearson one or the McGraw-Hill one. Okay, so that's one that I think I just said this, but that's the reason you need the connect password. And then there's going to be just a final test, or final assignment. And if you took the course last term, it's going to be sort of like that, where it's nothing crazy. It's not some kind of cumulative assignment to test your entire knowledge. It's more like some questions and pick which question you want to answer and go for it. Um, I've always liked teaching NIPSing. I hope this term has a bit of a different vibe, and I think like last I had a maybe I should just generally say last summer was a bit rough, and I think I started kind of weak the fall term, and I don't want to make excuses, and I also don't want to like be the man of a million apologies because that gets old too, and it also is inauthentic. It's inauthentic to myself, and it's making myself cheap. It's like I worked hard last term. It just didn't come out right, kind of. And so I'm gonna try to make it more clear. But then I also need you to take your side too. And you did. Like it's like I feel like once I started seeing your assignments and seeing how strongly people were responding to things, that was awesome. So I'm gonna try to be a bit more on top of things, but I also need a bit of grace, right? Because like let's just be blunt. Like I have a full-time job and I have 2 young kids, and my 2 young kids do take priority, and they should. And I'm gonna work as hard as I can to be a good instructor for you. Uh, but yeah, a bit of grace in both directions. And I think anybody that needed a bit of support last term, I think if you're honest, you'd say that I tried to provide that. So let's just treat each other as humans, and try our best. And this is the last time I'm gonna speak on like last term. So let's just move forward, right? And again, to the people that like reached out and were like super kind at the end of last term, it's like, man, a few comments like that can go a super long way, and a thank you. So anyways, that was a weird first video and I wasn't planning on saying any of that, but maybe I needed to. This is your first assignment. Your first quiz is now available. Again, you don't have the same time pressure with the quizzes, but I would suggest to chip away at them when you have a chance so that some people were concerned about it all being due at the end, and it's like so there's it's tough because it's tough to make everyone happy, right? Like, do I have really solid due dates and not give any extensions or any leniency, or do I have leniency and then it builds? So that's where there's a bit of a self-direction component. And I'm going to put it a little bit on your plate to keep up and to decide when it makes sense for you, right? If you have a softer week, easier week, maybe you chip away at some stuff. And if you have a busy week, the whole intention of how I've designed it is to make it so if you need to take a week or so when you're doing almost nothing for this course because you're overwhelmed in other courses, that you have that wiggle room or whatever. Um, Again, weird first video, but I value and trust and like your group enough to be honest with you and to just say like I'm in a different place than I was at the beginning of the fall, and I think I'm ready to make this much better. So not necessarily content wise, but more clarity and delivery wise. All right, so man, let's end on a smile. It's like I don't know, it's not the end of the world. Um, None of the comments about me got personal. It was all kind of process based. And to be honest, it's like I probably deserve most of it. So just, I don't know how to end this. Have a great day. And my next video will be not the same emotional vibe of trying to sort things out verbally on camera, but it'll be more like just a normal teacher video. All right, talk to you soon. And you're an awesome group, good people, and everything will work out. All right, cheers.